Welcome. My name is Vtuber Cierna. We're doing Creatin Connections today. And we are very much happy to welcome our guest, Camilla Bumbet. And I am very happy, and I hope you guys will give a very warm welcome as we welcome her. Hi, Camilla. Welcome
Hello.
in.
Hello. Hi.
Do you want to tell chat like what you do? What's your stitch? What's going on?
Yeah, so I'm Camilla Bombette, also known as KB. Most people just call me KB.
Yeah.
I'm a professional voice actress of the past 5 years. It feels like an eternity. I'm known primarily on the spicy side of things. That's where I
Mm-mm.
really got my start.
Yeah.
Was doing spicy work, spicy voice acting, and then I started doing VTubing as of 2 years ago. So yeah, it's funny how I've noticed a lot of VTubers and VAs, like the worlds have clashed, like started like colliding. Like
Right.
we've come together. It's weird. It's like we're just VAs are becoming VTubers, and then VTubers want to become VAs, and I'm just like, so
Yeah.
beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. But yeah, I'm a Puka VTuber, so I'm a Celtic VTuber. It's like a mischievous fae and stuff like that. And yeah, like my entire dick is just Irish folklore because I'm Irish. Even though I got a Southern accent, I'm technically like a third generation American. So yeah, I talk a lot about Irish stuff.
Oh, that's
Yay!
awesome.
But yeah, and also we're gonna be touching about it, but yeah, I'm also known for I'm going to school right now for being a mortician. So I like to rap
Yeah.
about
That's
that.
so cool. I'm so excited to talk about all of these things. When I was researching and writing up like KB as a guest, right? I was like, okay, list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so many things I wanted to talk to you about. So I'm really excited that we have the chance to do that today. It's funny, I didn't know that you were Irish. I am actually also Irish, but like nowhere near as like Irish as you probably because it's so distant by now. But it's really cool that we
Hey,
are.
I'll still have a beer with you, or if beer's not
Thank
your thing, hey,
you.
I'll have wine. I love wine. I love either or. I don't care.
Listen, I am down for whatever, actually. Unironically, I love drinking. Very good lessons we're teaching chat right now.
Yeah, the code to happiness is alcohol
Alcohol and women.
and money.
And money. Yes, money. I love money. But yeah, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the podcast. What I know you from actually was VA, and I've always wondered how long have you been in voice acting? How did you get into voice acting? Like what's your background with that?
Honestly, so I actually did a short about this recently where
Mhm.
years ago, for spicy voice acting at least, I was like a normal voice actress, like a itty bitty voice actress that started off on a little site called Casting Call Club. That a lot of people know as either they have really good experiences with it or they have kind of
Mm.
experiences because I will be honest, nowadays the site is really overflown with Minecraft roleplay.
Right. What? Wait, my
Yeah.
whoa, I thought you were gonna stop at overflow. And I was like, yeah,
No,
it's like oversaturated. And then the
no,
Minecraft came in and I was
no.
like, wait,
Yes.
what?
Yes. So, okay. So the whole shtick with that site is that anyone can post their project. So it's a
Right.
lot of younger kids that are posting like they want to make this Minecraft role play happen and they want to hire voice actors and not give them money and stuff like that. So a lot of those are like so many of those projects are on the site and kind of flood over the actual like production. Like,
Wait, that's
um
actually crazy.
yeah, no, I'm serious. Back in the day when I started, it wasn't that way at all. It was a
Right.
lot of like only professional like projects were happening, or like the most it would be like an anime abridged dub or something like that.
Right,
Like
right.
that's fine. But yeah, like now it's like Roblox, Minecraft role plays. It's kind of weird. So
Roblox?
yeah, yeah.
Wait, so role plays, why do they need voice actors for role plays?
I guess they just wanna, like, do videos, like, content creation, so they just wanna do, like, a story where it's a role play a story where they have VAs that are like reading the script for each character.
Unpaid because 'cause they're kids
Yeah.
usually,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Hundo percento.
That's
It is
wait,
not a
that's so
site if you want money. I will preference that 100%. It is for starting out. It is for putting your feet
wait,
in the
that's
water.
so good.
Yeah,
So that is, like, a recent thing. Do you know, like, how many years ago that probably started?
I would say that, like, maybe 3 years ago, 'cause like I said, I started, VA as a whole,
Right.
6, 7 years ago, but, like, the spicy stuff 5 years ago.
Right. I wonder
Um,
why
I think
it
it's
got
just
like that.
yeah, people were just, like, starting to branch off into, like, other sites, or honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, which is a kind of a spicy topic, is, AI.
Right.
AI
AI?
definitely, yeah, AI is definitely a big problem when it comes to the VA scene,
Oh,
100%,
man.
which
It's in
sucks.
everything.
Yep, it's in everything.
That's so sad.
But yeah, so just VA as a whole, I started off, I was a theater kid for forever.
Right, right.
Yes, yes, everyone cringe. Everyone go, "Eh." Yeah,
No,
'cause
theater kids are cute. Theater kids are cute.
okay,
I
but there's 2 types of theater kid. There's the
right.
or the really sweet cinnamon roll bean. There's no in between.
What were
None.
you?
I was in between because I was the art kid. This is the thing.
Yes.
I'm the one exception because I
Right.
also was an art kid. So that's
Right.
what brought me down to earth.
Right, right. You weren't, like, too lost. You still had
Yeah.
hope. Yeah, that's so funny. You weren't, like, roaring at other kids or
No.
anything.
No. Yeah, exactly. Theater kids through memes, yes, 'cause it's true.
Well,
It's
that's
so
what
true.
they do, right? They're like, "Stay away from my girl," and they're, like, always, like, kissing their girlfriend. That was actually true for my high school, was that they
Yeah.
were always, like, making out for some reason, the theater kids were.
Yeah, not the hissing people.
That's what they were. They would,
Yeah.
like, make out and, like, be like, "Ruh," you know what I mean?
But scary.
But that was, like, a very specific subset of theater kids, 'cause most of the ones I knew were, like, normal. There was just, like, 5
Yeah.
of them that were kinda like
Oh, yeah, that's why I say there's the 2 because it's like
right.
it's usually you're usually safe, but sometimes you're not.
Mhm.
But yeah, so theater kid, and then, I've always had a problem with stage fright.
Right.
I really lock up when I'm on stage, like, when it
Mhm.
comes to my body language, because I just get so worried about how I look, how I'm
Right.
performing, this and that, and so my director, pretty much said, once I was in, like, late high school and stuff like that,
Mhm.
said, "Hey, have you ever tried voice acting?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Well, because you project your voice so well, you
Right.
enunciate really, really well. Thanks, speech therapy. Autism.
Autism.
Autism. Speech therapy. Thanks, homies." And he was just like, "Why don't you try that?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so literally that just started it, and I was like, "This is so much fun." And I
Mhm.
just kept it going, and even though I do sometimes do on stage stuff still,
Right.
it's very rare in between, but I've done a
Mhm.
lot of on stage, I've done musical, I've done
Musical.
a lot of stuff.
Do you sing?
Yes, I do sing, but I'm very, very shy about it. I'm working
Aw.
on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it 'cause we did, my last production that we did was, Beauty and the Beast, and I was
Right.
Babette, so,
Right.
which is the feather duster for most people that don't know, 'cause I honestly, I keep forgetting who she is.
Yeah. So when you do was that on stage?
Yeah, for that one, that was on stage, completely on stage.
What is
This is
it like now for you?
I mean, for doing if I've done anything like, I mean, I don't really take on musical roles, like, that's not on
Mhm.
stage anymore. Like, I don't really do any of that. I kinda just, for on stage stuff, it's very,
Mm.
like I said, far and in between because it's, like, local community theater or in my
Right.
college or this or that,
Right.
or it's and but the thing is I literally don't have time anymore. Like, I used to be so
Mhm.
involved in the theater stuff at my college,
Mhm.
now, well, doing this job and everything on top of it,
Right.
I have no time. I have
Right.
no time whatsoever. So, that's kinda just what really just kinda it was like a domino effect that just kept going and kept going and kept going.
And went
But,
into VA.
yeah, but for Spicy VA specifically, I made a
Right.
short about it recently to kinda circle back to what I was saying.
Mhm.
It actually started off as a scam.
Oh
Funny
my
enough,
god.
I literally I was just like, I saw this project on Casting Call Club that was, like,
Right.
of a popular ecchi, animator, and
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh my god, I wanna try that." Like,
Right.
like, I'm comfortable with, my sexuality. Why don't I well, why? Why not?
Mhm.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
And I got casted, and I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god." And, a VA that actually directly works with said animator emailed me to be like, "Hey, so that's fake, by the way. That's a scam." And I went,
No.
"No." And it sucked really bad, and I was just really sad about it, but then I kinda took it the good way about it, and I went, "You
Mhm.
know what? That was really fun. Why don't I just keep doing it just for, like, shits and giggles?" And
Right.
that's why my spicier name on the other side is that name, because I
Mhm.
didn't take it seriously.
Right.
I literally just came up with something, and was just like, "Boom, there you go."
There
It's
I am.
an homage to Scott Pilgrim, 'cause, Sex Bob-omb over
Right,
there,
right,
so
right. Mhm.
literally it's a play on that. That's what that
Right.
is for that over there. But yeah.
That's so fair. So when you ended up doing that casting call, when you did the actual like not safe for work side of it, what was that like when you first started?
I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely, like, cringing at myself in the way of okay,
Oh my God, KB,
like, where you would just shout penis, like, really loud at the top of your
the
lungs, or you
game?
yes! There was a
Yeah,
full-blown game, yeah,
yeah,
the penis game,
the
or
penis game.
the moan game, where it was just like you would moan
Wait,
the as loud yeah, yeah. I don't know, maybe my school was on a different level,
I think
but
so. I think the boys did that, but they never did it as like the penis game. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, no, and so when I was doing it at first, I just kept thinking about that, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm making myself
That's so funny.
I'm making myself cringe." But then eventually I just got into it, like, in the way of just like, "Okay, it's a performance, it's a
Right,
performance.
right,
Imagine I'm on stage and
right.
there's a sex scene that's going on.
Mhm,
Boom, put the puzzle pieces together, and then
mhm.
slowly over time, I broke out of that, like, cringy kinda, like, at myself,
The
and, like,
cringe factor for you,
was
yeah.
was more like, "Oh, yeah, I know how to do this good. I'm pretty good at this now."
Right, right. I think it's interesting that you say you started off cringing because I relate to that even just in general. Like I feel like when you're doing content creation and you're reviewing it and it's just you, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, you know what I mean? Cuz I feel like content creation is pretty vulnerable too. Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
cringe as much with like the safe for work stuff as you did not safe for work, or was like one more vulnerable than the other? What was that like for you?
I'd say, I ain't gonna lie, with some of, like, the long form content that, that's been created for me,
Mhm.
I definitely sometimes rewatch it, and I'm like, "I'm not that funny." I'm like, Why did I think that was funny? I'm not that funny." Like, I'm such my biggest hater.
Right, right. I
I
think you're funny. That's, like, so, like, left field for me because I think you're hilarious, so I'm like, "What?" But
Thank
I
you.
think it is true, like, being the biggest hater for yourself is, like, really common.
Yeah, I think because, for at least streams and stuff like that, it's
Mhm.
unfiltered, unedited content to, like, rewatch, like, my VOD stuff. I'm like, "Gosh, I really just, like, I go on these tangents, these, like, random things, I do weird things
Mhm.
during it," and I just kinda that's where I kinda, like, cringe at myself, is
Right.
those moments, or a bit that I really think is funny in the moment, but then
Mhm.
later on, I'm like, "That's kind of funny, it's not that funny." Yeah.
Maybe it's like, you're in the mood in whatever moment you're in, you're like, "Oh, yeah, this is hilarious." But then later on, you're kinda, like, distant from that, so that's why it's kinda like, "Meh," you know? You're like, "Okay."
Honestly, I blame it on sleep deprivation.
That's so fair.
I blame it on that, so,
Because you do a lot. Like, okay, before we even get into that, how many hours of sleep do you usually get?
What is sleep?
Do you not sleep? Do you not sleep at all?
So I already have a sleep problem, like, I have a
Right,
sleep order, I have a
right.
REM cycle disorder or whatever I was told
Mm,
by my doctor, so it's not insomnia, it's just, like, I don't have a REM cycle, so when people feel tired, I don't know what that means, like, in the way of, like, "Oh, they're about to fall asleep,"
right,
like, when you just naturally are laying in bed and then you could like, you feel yourself falling asleep,
right, right.
I don't feel that, I have to purposely close my eyes, fully be, like, doing it, like, I can't like, if I'm doing something else, my brain is locked. Like, I have to put everything down. I have to put the phone down. I gotta put everything down, and like close my eyes and this and that, or my body will not go to sleep. Like I can't fall asleep sitting up. So
Oh
if
my
I'm like
god.
sitting in a chair, I can't do it. If I'm on a
Right.
plane, I can't do it. If I'm on a car, I can't do it. I can't do it. If I have to be laying down in a bed, like it is so specific. It
Wow.
sucks.
Do you do you think while you're trying to fall asleep? Like, is it mental too, where everything has to stop? Or can you
Yes.
oh my god.
Yes.
Do your thoughts stop?
No.
Oh my
'Cause
god.
'Cause baby, I got anxiety.
So not only do you have REM problems, but you also have anxiety. So you like even mentally you have to stop to achieve like actual sleep.
Yeah,
And that isn't easy for you.
I literally have to drug myself with,
Right.
like, anxiety-wise just for my brain to go, you know, like, just no
Just for it
signal.
to stop. Yeah, for it to be quiet. That's so relatable from like an anxiety standpoint, but I could not imagine how difficult that is for a sleep standpoint. Like that's like extra. You're like on playing on Dark Souls mode with life right now.
Well, I can make it worse. I have a really bad thyroid problem. That's something me and Naru really, connect on.
Right.
So,
So what does
I'm
that look like for you?
always tired. Whenever you
Yeah.
sleep if you sleep, you're never restful. You're never restful.
Mm,
You're constantly having brain fog. It's a lot of cognitive stuff, like, with your
right.
people don't realize how big your thyroid is, like, a really essential
Mm,
organ,
right.
because it controls so much hormonal balances in your
Mm-hmm.
brain. That's what, like, controls, like, your, just everything, like, your
Right.
serotonin, your dopamine, like, literally,
Mm-hmm.
it is a huge, contributor to just, like, your general well-being that people do not know. If it does not work, oh, your life is hell.
Right. And
Your life is
there
hell.
is there medication for that or no?
There's medication, but it doesn't really get rid of it. It just kinda like, oh, it helps it a bit, it makes
A
it, like,
bit.
not as dreadful. Literally, I talk about it with Naru all the damn time. I'm like,
Right.
Girl, I went into a thyroid nappy," and she knows immediately what I'm talking about. She's like, "Oh, you got that sleep." I'm like, "Yeah,
Right.
that's"
That sounds so
So, yeah.
hard.
It definitely is, like, juggling so many different things and then, having my health on top of it and
Right.
stuff like that. Cause yeah, I feel like, from all sides of my avenues, people expect so much out of me, but I'm only one
Right.
person. I'm
Right.
literally I'm just a girl. That's it.
Mhm. 'Cause to clarify, you do not safe for work VA, safe
Mhm.
for work VA,
Mhm.
sex work,
Mhm.
VTubing,
Mhm.
and you're in school.
Medical school as well.
Not
Yeah,
even
that's
just regular school, medical. That is wild. So what does school look like for you? Start there.
school is it's a different world in the way of that's when I fully disconnect from, KB. I have to because
Mhm.
I have to just like it's like no correlation. Like, my VTubing has no correlation with like what I do normal
Right.
day-to-day life. Um but yeah, no, it is gruesome. And let me clarify when I say medical school, I'm not technically like okay, I'm not a doctor. I'm
Mhm.
not going into the same thing as a doctor is, but I'm literally like maybe a couple steps down from a doctor,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. Because I'm not going for like a doctorate degree, but I'm definitely
Right.
like up there when it comes to schooling. Because I'm in school right now, almost done, with my bachelor's in mortuary sciences.
Mhm.
And then I will be going off to do my PhD in thanatology. So I'm doing some pre
Thanatology.
it's the study of death. So, like, essentially for
Oh.
people, that are, like, in hospice and stuff like that,
Right.
like, I could be a counselor if I wanted to be, like,
Right.
later in life, just to, like, help people, like, grieve and stuff like that, or, like, what the process of from birth to death.
Right.
Like, that I learn about the entirety of, like, a average person's life from birth until death. Like, what the climaxes are, what the key points are, what,
Mhm.
like certain things that happen at certain ages, stuff like that. That's the entire study of thanatology. And then
Mhm.
just like, what is death? What happens with death? Blah, blah, blah. I've always been fascinated with it. And that's why I do the career that I do outside of just like VA work and
Right.
my own like artistic passions. Because everybody is kind of asking what happens. And I want to know too. My little autistic brain is like, I wanna know. So, yeah, I've always just been interested in that sort of stuff. But yeah,
Right.
so school has just it's something that I can't, like, take classes online for. I have to go into the lab.
Mhm.
It's required because, we're working either on bodies or we're working on, specimens or we're working on, like, whatever it like, I have to be physically in the lab. Like, it's not like I can take these classes online.
Mhm.
My prereqs, sure. I already cleared those years ago, though.
Right.
So nowadays it's like all classes I have to go in physically for me to be able to do that. I did take a break for this semester because I got married recently.
Yippee!
Yay, marriage.
Marriage.
I'm glad it's over. In the way of, like, the planning, that was hell.
Right, right.
But, yeah, so I took the break off because I was so busy with, you know, ready for that, and then adjusting to, like, new management, of
Mhm.
course, you know all about all that, doing
Yeah.
all this and that, and so I just took a break from school, but I'm going back this summer, full blown, because 'cause I'm like, "Alright, time to go back,"
Time to
because
finish. Yeah.
literally, it's like maybe I have a year, like, and then I'm,
Yeah.
like, done with that, but then I have to move on to the next step of everything, so
Right.
it's a lot, it's a lot.
And what is your goal for like this job? So you're studying now. Do
Mhm.
you want to work with bodies? Like what's your future in it?
I wanna own a funeral home.
Mhm.
So I wanna own, just like a funeral home, everything that to go with that, like as a business as a whole, because, one, I could go into a whole rant about this, I won't. The funeral industry is really, family locked in
Right?
the way of, if you're not in the family, you
Mhm.
cannot get a job there, usually most of the time,
Oh
because
my
they're
god.
so tight knit. So
Right.
tight knit because they wanna keep it in the family.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
they want to just, like, not have to deal with outsiders, this and that, and just keep the family name going.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's kinda what it is, so I've realized the struggle with that, so I wanna make my own funeral home and kinda, like, be like, "Hey, you're welcome to come here if you want. You wanna work here? You're cool? Alright, cool. Alright, cool.
Yeah.
I'll be your boss. I'll be your tatted, pierced boss. Let's go." So yeah, just owning a funeral home, which is something that if I do have children, which I don't think I will,
Mhm.
but hey, I have no idea. I could pass it on to them in the future and just be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, here you go.
You can
Family
have
business.
this.
Go
Yeah.
have fun,
Here's this family business.
but don't be, like, family only, like, I want you to be nice to other people." But yeah, j
Right.
it's essentially that's what my whole goal is,
Mhm.
because I will say this as a little tangent, streamers that put everything into streaming and their whole, like, everything, like, the
Mhm.
gamble of just streaming only and that's it,
Mhm.
that's so silly and so don't do that.
Risky.
Please don't do that. That
Right.
is so not smart. Like, it's very not smart, just in the way of unless you are super duper duper big and established,
Right.
just don't do that.
Mhm.
Always make sure you have a backup plan, like schooling or this or that, or you have a
Right.
job, like, ready, and that's why I'm still going to school and
Mhm.
doing this, because so many people are like, "KB, you're successful, like, what are you doing?" Like,
Right.
you don't have to go to school." I'm like, "I understand I don't gotta go to school, but my job may become illegal tomorrow. I have
Mhm.
no idea."
Right.
Like, especially with the state of America, like,
Right.
Jesus Christ, I
Mhm.
have no idea. So, I have to ensure that I'm gonna be safe and that
Mhm.
you know, just my whole livelihood is going to be safe, so
Right.
I'm
Yeah, that makes sense. Why did you so I know you said you had like a fixation and you want to understand death and everything, but are there other aspects of mortuary science and like the funeral home that makes you feel connected to it and you want to explore it?
Um, yeah, cause definitely from a young age, I was hit with death a lot in
Mhm.
my family, and being on the spectrum, it's very hard for me to, like, process things and understand things.
Right.
So, it was kind of just something that kinda just fell naturally into place,
Mhm.
because a lot of my family are medical providers, like, they're medical, like, professionals.
Right.
Most of the women in my family, at
Mhm.
least, they work in medical. So I was a medical receptionist for many, many years, a pediatrics medical receptionist, before I was doing any of this. Like, this
Mhm.
is like right when I was right out of high school, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I did that for many years until I started doing this VA stuff, and then that's when I stopped doing that.
Mhm.
But yeah, so kind of just family oriented stuff, but also just what gravitates me towards it, besides my own personal experiences, is kind of a more philosophical reason,
Right.
which is, I honestly want to give people something that they can never get back, or they
Mhm.
can never ever experience again, which is a proper goodbye.
Right.
And giving that to people, like to a wife that's saying goodbye to her husband of like 50 something years,
Mhm.
a proper, just goodbye to them,
Mhm.
and like, this, and having a really smooth experience really gives me that this is worth it.
Right.
Like, I'm doing something that this person is only gonna get once in their life, you know,
Mhm.
and that is it. And it's the same, it's just, yeah, it's really is philosophical, like, it fulfills me, where it's just like, I
Mhm.
wanna be a part of that. I wanna be a part of that. I wanna be a positive influence in that to where my life feels like it's, you know, a positive
Mhm.
impact.
Yeah, and it's meaningful and has
Yeah.
purpose for you. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because most people think because I'm goth, they think I would just give the standard answer like, "Oh, I like messing with bodies." You know, like, no, I mean,
I
it's
definitely
cool.
didn't think that, but yeah, that's interesting. Do you like messing around with dead bodies?
No. Literally, I go like I'm honestly, I'm a little bit of a baby when it comes to certain things. I'm
Right.
like I really don't like when we have to like drain the blood. That's the worst thing when we have to use what
Right.
is called a trocar
Mhm.
into the abdomen specifically
Right.
to drain the blood from like the person's like ligaments and like everything
Mhm.
else and having to see it just poured into a bucket and I'm just like,
A bucket. Yeah.
wow.
That's very queasy. I would definitely not be able to even be in the room with a dead body, let alone interact with one. So I feel like it takes like some pretty big nerves, you know, to do
What
that.
the thing that I will say that stands out the most is the smell. Like, you once you
Mm,
smell a dead that's you will never smell anything like that again. Like,
right.
it's like a part of your brain that just knows that's a dead body.
Yeah, and that's
That
bad, and I should not
yeah.
be near it. It does send like danger signals to your brain
Yeah,
in
no,
general.
seriously, and it's funny because I asked my professor that, I'm like, "Is that true?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Literally, it's because it's your literally because we are animals.
Mhm.
We know when the body just naturally gives off pheromones for when they've deceased. They just
Right.
naturally do.
Right. Which is
So,
interesting
crazy.
because it's very social. It's very interesting how death is social and related to life, even in death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very poetic. When you have, because you have anxiety, does that ever affect your mental health? Like being around death a lot, being with bodies? Is that something you struggle with? Is it something that's ever come up? Or is it something that's just like, this is my job and I'm here?
It depends on the case that we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like example, the ones that really hit me are children, you know, like
Right.
younger children or things like that. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
of course, nobody wants to see like a dead child, but you know, like
Right.
I try to think about it like I'm going to give this mom the best experience. You know, I'm
Right.
gonna give this dad the best experience, you know, like just to say like bye.
Mhm.
You know? So definitely depression more takes a hold when it comes to like
Right.
those certain cases, but
Mhm.
anxiety takes more a hold of cases where it's like this person is riddled with medical problems and like one wrong move and I could make this body look horrendous
Right.
because they have like maybe a blood clotting like
Mhm.
condition where then the embalming fluid that we're using just they literally blow up like a balloon like
Right.
in their arm and I'm like, "Uh-oh, we can't fix that." Um guess
Has
we're
that
gonna
happened?
no, I'm just
Oh,
like the people
good.
that have I've
Good
never done
job,
it, but
KB. Good job.
but it has happened,
Right,
like,
right.
to other, practitioners and stuff like that. I'm just like, "Mm?" I'm like, "Nope, I really don't want that happen because
Right.
that is a lawsuit. That is
Oh,
lawsuit."
that's very scary. It's interesting how delicate your job is. I feel like when people think or well what your job will be and what you're doing now, I feel like when people think about morticians, it's like metal and like hardcore. But then like the reality of it is very wholesome.
It's wholesome, and then also, I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely the best way that I can describe, the experience of being, like, back in you know, just the whole, in the back preparation room and everything
Right.
is I don't know if you've ever watched House MD,
I
but,
have seen clips.
okay, so House, like, likes to talk to himself a lot,
Right.
and kinda, like, sometimes, like, when there's a certain part in the certain seasons where he's kinda going
Mhm. A
little crazy,
little
little
loopy, yeah.
a little crazy, and
Yeah.
he'll start talking to body like, literally, just
Right.
sometimes it just
Right.
happens where you're just like you just start talking to the body, you're not even realizing it. It's not like a whole
Right.
big, like, shebang where it's like, "Oh my gosh, you're going mentally insane." It's
Mhm.
literally just you have nobody else to talk to.
Right. And it's kind of like humane. Like that's a pretty human thing to do is like that's a person for most of us that would look at a body. That person lived and is very human. And I feel like the practice of making a body ready for a funeral service is humanizing them too. So I could
Yeah.
totally see a lot of people talking to the body while they're like dressing them up and getting ready for that service.
Oh yeah, yeah, because I definitely do that.
Right.
'Cause, there are people that are like, oh, but it's a body. The person isn't there anymore. I'm like, I mean, yes, but the thing is that they were there at a point, so I'm
Right.
still gonna treat it
Right.
the same.
And who knows? Maybe like
Yeah,
the
who knows? Maybe
soul
they
is,
watching.
yeah,
Who
like
knows?
maybe the soul's watching over and is like, you better do a good job, KB.
Yeah, and they get cursed for 7 years blue balls. Who knows? I don't know.
No, I feel like that's so fair. I think I would do the same thing, especially because you're alone for sure.
Yeah.
I was wondering, is there, because there is a lot of stigma around like jobs that delve into death, and especially when you're like physically handling bodies. Is there something you think no one really thinks about morticians, or kind of that study, like some hidden truths of it or like common misconceptions?
I mean, definitely we do get okay, so if I were to, like, go up to a random person, let's say, like, an accountant,
Mm-hmm.
and I just go and they're like, "Oh, what do you do for work?" I'm like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a mortician." They go, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I'm like, "What do you mean what's wrong with me?
Right.
Like, everyone's dying,
Yeah.
like, we you kinda need me."
I was just about to say that's like a really good way to make an enemy. You
Yeah,
know what
like
I mean?
what do you mean what's wrong with me?
Yeah. It's like you
Like,
better hope
that's
you don't end up in that mortician's hands when you're dead.
yeah, that's the one thing is when I told my mom that I was going into this, like, job, of course, she was
Right.
queasy, but she is a medical professional, so she was just like, "Okay, it's not that bad." But then
Right.
the more she thought about it, she's like, you know, Peanut," 'cause my mom calls me Peanut.
That's so
She's like,
cute.
"Peanut," funny enough, my mom calls me Peanut because I have a giant head, and then I have a huge ass. That's literally what my mom has always said since
You
I
have
was
a
a kid.
huge head and a huge ass, so she calls you
Yeah, like a
Peanut.
peanut.
That's amazing.
But she was just like, "Peanut, I understand. I really get it." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "You're always gonna have a job. You're
Right.
always gonna have a job." I'm like, "Yeah, I am, Ma." And she's like, "You
Yeah.
know what? I'm on board."
You're like, she's like, My child is secure in life." That's awesome. That's true. You're never gonna run out of clientele.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, no, well, my mom is not gonna be like, "Yes, my daughter's an hour." That just sounds
Could
wrong.
you
Just to be
imagine?
yeah, that's
Hey,
weird. My mom took
hourglass.
it yeah, my mom took it the very innocent, like, "Aw" way because it's like, "Why do you call her Peanut?" It's funnier when you explain it because it's just
Right.
like it makes sense when you explain it.
Right. That's so cute. That's awesome.
So yeah, that's the one thing I would say is just like people constantly judge you even though like it's needed. It's literally just like people have this
Yeah.
weird hostility. Like some
Right.
people, I'm not saying everyone. I either get the hostility or I get the people that want nothing to do with me, or I
Right.
get the people that are so interested in me and want to ask me a billion questions.
Right. I was gonna say, I definitely feel like one of the more common reactions is probably like fascination. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what? Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of what I had when I first heard that you did mortician studies, because I was like, VTubing. You know what I mean? Like,
How
huh,
does that
how did
correlate?
you, yeah, how did we get both?
I'm
So,
just quirky. I don't know. I'm just here. I pulled up.
no, I feel like that's awesome though, because I think the great thing about this podcast and also just VTubing or getting to know people in general is that there's so many different sides of us. So I think it's really cool that you're a VTuber. And then if you look a little deeper, you're like, oh my God, you also do mortician work. That's like, I've never met anyone that does that. And I would never expect a VTuber to do it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like, don't get me wrong, I was tempted for a very long while, was like, if
Hmm.
this didn't work out, with KB and everything like that, I would just,
Right.
like, rebrand to, like, a mortician, like, VTuber,
Which would
where
be
it's just like
really cool. But KB
I
is
may still do it.
so cute. Do both.
I may still do it, and people just
KB,
know it's me. Yeah.
what's 4 jobs when you could have 8?
Yeah, exactly. People just be like,
No.
"Wait a minute, I know that voice," and it's like, "Yeah, you do. Yeah. Yeah,
No,
you know
KB,
things."
you have enough to do right now.
Let's do it. Hey, Nara!
Naru's like dying over there, like, please, KB, don't.
Leave me alone.
Out of
No
like
more.
everything you do, what's the one thing you want people to know you for? Or do you want people to know about everything you do and be like, "Oh, that's KB, like the jack of all cars or a jack of all trades?" Or like, do you have one that you're like, "Yeah, that's me."
Honestly, just like I want people to know me more so for like my personality that
Right.
people can do like example like spicy work and
Mhm.
also just have a normal life.
Right.
Because a lot of people have this weird connection that sex workers are dumb. And I'm like,
Yeah.
first off, they are the
Mhm.
smartest people I have ever met because
Right.
they have to market themselves and business themselves, and like
Mhm.
I said, just like they are super duper smart because they
Mhm.
have to play this minefield game constantly because that market is so saturated that you have to really stand out and play
Right.
your cards right. And it's just it's crazy. And literally the people some of my friends that are sex workers literally are nurses, are
Right.
studying to be doctors, that are literally like accountants for like
Mhm.
like literally like it's just people are so weirdly like it just have that association. And I know it's because of media and just like Hollywood and stuff like that, and that's really
Right.
what it is because most of us are super duper smart. We just really are in tune with our sexuality and we're
Mhm.
comfortable with doing that sort of stuff, so why not make the money and have the
Right.
fun
Why
time?
not do it? Why not do it? Yeah, that's so fair. I feel like having people know you for your personality and as like a whole is honestly the best because that's how you build like a really loyal audience rather than like, oh, you do sex work, so I'm only going to be here for sex work. And some people are like
That's
that.
yeah,
But like
that's what I struggle with a lot.
right, right. Especially because sex work is sometimes more digestible for people. Like there's a bigger audience that will
Yeah,
like find you because there's just a bigger audience interested in like sex work
yeah,
rather than VTubing. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
And that's
Um,
why, yeah, doing
right.
the safer work stuff, that's what I wanted to the VTubing, that's exactly
Mhm.
why I wanted to do it, was so I could like literally be like, "Hey, I do more than just that." You
Right.
know? I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty
Yeah,
hip.
you are pretty cool. Yeah, and people should also know that. I think it's honestly really interesting how a lot of people who do sex work also have these kind of peeks into their lives. Not every sex worker does this, but like I see it a lot in VTubing where like they do sex work, but they also have like a safer work VTubing persona, whether or not that's shared with like their not safer work stuff too. But I think it's really helpful for sex workers and the image of sex workers to have that safer work image because then people can humanize sex workers in general
Yeah.
rather than
Mhm.
just being like, oh, you do sex work, so like you're dumb, like we talked about, or like you're
Yeah.
only horny, or like your only use is like, sex.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
so unfair that people even think that just because people do sex work. But I think it's really helpful that we have VTubing and maybe I wonder, I don't know, maybe do sex workers like that do like that don't do VTubing, do they also have social media that's kind of like their lives, like lifestyle content
That,
creators?
funny enough, no. I feel like that
Really?
side of things that they don't really like, at least they don't connect it
Right.
because it kind of fell into place and unanimously fell into place. Me being a spicy voice actress was
Mhm.
that I didn't show my face, and I never
Right.
did because I didn't want people to know who I was because I
Right.
wanted like a normal life, like
Mhm.
outside of my work that I do.
Right.
And I didn't want my family to be affected by my own choices is
Right.
essentially what I tell
Mhm.
people because they're like, because literally if it was up to me and it wasn't about like worrying about my family and this and that,
Right.
I would have shown my face a million years ago. But
Right.
I'm I'm worried about the repercussions, like,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, I'm just gonna stay over here.
Right.
So I'm just chilling with that. But yeah, no, it for me it fell into place because yeah, VTubers also don't show their face. So I'm like,
Right.
this worked
Mhm.
perfectly for me.
Right.
Where I could kind of have that, that safer work image where it's like the safer work brand, the safer work this and that. But when it comes to like other sex workers, like for like, just the average like not VTuber,
Mhm.
they usually show their face because well, they have no reason not to because well, like do you get what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
they don't really have that ability, honestly, to
Mhm.
be able to have that
Which
that
is
safer work side of
sad.
things.
which is
Yeah.
sad because like it sucks that even showing your face in that regard in general, sex work to a whole nother degree, but content creation too, there's repercussions for that no
Yeah.
matter what, which is unfortunate because you think people would respect boundaries. I think recently a big celebrity that did this was Chappelle Roan. And she was like,
Mhm.
I don't want people coming up to me and like asking for pictures or like stopping me in the street. And people were upset because they were like, you came into this work, like you knew the risk, you knew the like the risk of stardom and like everything that comes with it. And it's like, oh my God. And like imagine that, but for sex workers, it must be like
That
times
entitlement.
100. It's
Yeah.
and yeah, entitlement, audacity, like I can only imagine. So it makes sense that people who are showing face who are at risk for public viewing and perception can't do the same thing that a VTuber who also does sex work could. So it's
Yeah.
very interesting how the two like play together as well.
Yeah, so that's why like I do IRL content for that spicy stuff too, just 'cause I'm comfortable with that, you know, like doing that sort of stuff and hey, if I can get extra money, why not?
Daddy cakes things for the
But there
sun.
are people that definitely, you know, other VTubers that aren't comfortable with that.
Right.
But they're still sex workers. They just like use their
Right.
model as their
Mm-hmm.
body. And that counts
Exactly.
too. It's the same thing. I hate there's an argument that goes on where it's like, are they true sex workers? I'm like, yes. Like just because they don't show their body doesn't mean they're not
Right.
making content of
And are
that
they
caliber.
is that like a view more like the viewers who believe in that? Is it like the audience that is like, oh,
No,
you're it's
it's yeah, it's the other talents. It's
right.
the people that aren't VTubers that say
Right.
that. That's all the only time I hear it, where it's like people that aren't VTubers say it. I'm like, all right, shh,
Yeah.
shush.
Shush. I love that because that's what they should do. You know what I mean? Especially because I do understand it is literal competition, you know, but at the same time, it's like there should be an expectation of professionalism. And it's like, why do you have to knock other people, you know,
Yeah,
just because it's
yeah.
different? But I feel like that happens with VTubing like all the time anyways. But yeah.
Oh
Um,
yeah, in the sex work scene, oh my god, everyone like
yeah.
you don't know who's your friend and who's not. Like I'm
Right.
serious. Just in the way of I seriously just want friends because I'm at a
Right.
point where it's like I have people that come to me because they think they can like example use me as a stepping stone, but I can immediately I
You
can
smell it.
I
Yeah.
immediately I'm like
Yeah.
I'm Big Bear in the Big Blue House. I smell you.
Right, right.
I can smell when you're trying to use me for that, and I'm
I
like, I don't like that.
I definitely think there is like I don't know what it is, but I totally relate to that where you're just like, "Oh, you definitely get an eye for it." Maybe
Yeah.
when you start out it's not as clear, but as you like work in the space more and more, you're like, "I know. I know what you are."
Yeah, it's like I know your game. I know your game.
Right,
I can tell.
right.
But it is so in the sex work side, it's like, yeah, you really don't know who's your friend and who's using you for
Right.
like this and that, which sucks because literally I only have a few like close friends that also
Mhm.
do like sex work alongside me that I could really trust and be like, yeah, like these people like went to my wedding. And like, you know, like I
Yeah.
trust them.
Mhm.
But it just sucks that I literally can't be like, "Hey, you wanna be friends?" And like
Right.
some people literally take it as, "Ew, no." I'm like, What?
What did
Why?"
I
What did I
do?
do? And they're like, "You're my competition." That's like going up from a Papa John's worker going to a Domino's and being like, "Let's be
That's
friends."
crazy.
I'm like, "That is nowhere
Like,
the
can it be
same
separate?
thing."
Okay,
Yeah,
you're just a pizza to take a bite of, KB. Like, that is, like, a crazy analogy, that's wild. Um, that is real yeah, I feel like it can be separate. I mean, even with, like, VTubing or any creative or professional field, how sad is it to not have friends, you know? Even, like, colleagues. And you don't have to be buddy-buddy with everyone, but a level of friendliness is pretty important for mental health. You know what I mean? Like, you don't wanna feel like you're out against everyone and everyone's against you.
yeah, it's like a kinda you're acting like you have, like, schizophrenia without like, you may not
Mm,
have schizophrenia, where you're
mm.
just, like, constantly worried about this, and
Right.
that, and this, and that. I'm
The
like,
level of
"Nobody's out to get you."
paranoia.
Yeah, nobody's out to get you. Like,
Mhm.
let's calm down. Like,
Yeah.
I don't wanna, like, siphon your fans. I don't wanna siphon all like,
Right.
I got my bag in my corner, like, I'm
Right.
good. I'm good over I literally just like you.
Right. And
But
I
obviously now I don't like you.
well, the other thing too is it's unfortunate because some people are like that. Where they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, if I show up, I can easily take, like, their fan base," which
Oh,
is
yeah.
also really gross. But that's, like, why that level of fear exists in creative fields anyways, even though it's not like one I just dropped something. It's not like one collab is going to make people go like, "Oh my god, I have to go see what's happening over there." You know what I mean? Like that's just not how it
Yeah.
works. But it's so interesting that people gatekeep themselves. You know what I mean? Like that's actually very interesting that people do that. But it
Yeah.
must be hard to know who to trust and who would even be open for friendship. And I'm sure that's only like the tip of the iceberg when it comes to mental health and sex work. So
Yeah.
is there like a lot of struggle for you there? Or how do you go about like mental health and sex work?
I would definitely say that this is like a super duper good question because I love answering it when people
Mm-hmm.
like ask me because people don't really understand how much it is like a thing like when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to amongst other sex workers because yeah you're making your entire income
Right.
your body, your image,
Right.
you're this,
Mm-hmm.
you're that, or your character's body or
Right.
whatever, like it is so it's like a model, like a
Mm-hmm.
model, like who's like fashion model, like where they have to be a size 0 or even
Right.
probably less to be able to keep getting work because that's all the fashion industry wants.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same pressures where it's just like
Right.
I feel bad, when I have, like a glutton day at times where it's just like, I'm not saying like I'd eat like 5 pizzas or something, but I'm saying like maybe a whole bag of Tostitos chips or something like that, like one day where it's like
Right.
everyone has done that at one time, like everybody's
Me
done
all the
that.
time.
Yeah, everybody does that. So it's just like, yeah, and then I feel horrible about it because 'cause I'm like, "Oh god, I'm not gonna look good for the next, like,
Whatever,
video I do
yeah.
or the next photo set or this or that or
Mhm.
so and so." And so it's a lot of mental stress because especially me, this kinda dwells into I did a previous interview about this, for
Mhm.
plus size creators, and I'm
Right.
a plus size creator.
Mhm.
I'm not like a big plus size creator.
Mhm.
Like I'm definitely like, like I've said this like out loud, that I'm chubbier. I'm like a chubbier creator. And I
Mhm.
I know that for a fact and that's perfectly fine with me. But
Right.
my body type isn't the norm when it
Right.
comes to this type of work. So
Mhm.
it kind of sucks because like I definitely get those people that are like, "Oh, I love, your body type. You're different. You're this, you're that.
Right.
Great. I see like diversity, this and that." And I
Mhm.
love those people. But then there's the people that are like, "Ew, like you're chubby and you don't like have, like bazonka donker, tatas." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I don't know." Like, my bad.
Yeah, let me fix that real quick. Just 1 second. You go off screen and come back, which is like the hugest milkers ever. I think
Yeah,
it's absolutely crazy because it's like no one's forcing you to watch or engage, but you still choose to. You know what I mean? And those are people who will literally pay and still criticize.
yes, and I that's the thing. People will go like, "Oh, those people aren't worth your time. They're not paying you anything." And I literally have to stop them. I'm like, "No.
They
The people
are.
that are the worst are the payers at times, where they
Yeah.
literally will do it just to, like, feel this weird power dynamic? Like, I don't know
Right.
what it is, where it's just, like, they feel like they have a more of a say now
Right.
because they gave you a sub,
More
and
money. Right.
I'm like, "No, just 'cause you gave me, like, a $30 sub does not mean you get to just, like, bully me."
Right.
Like
And say
like
whatever you want. Like that's definitely not how that works. Is how do you deal with that when it does come up?
I definitely would say, if I was alone in this, if I didn't have, like, my 2 partners, that definitely 'cause,
Mhm.
I'm polyamory, so I have a husband and I also have a boyfriend. I've been
Mhm.
very public about this.
Right.
My boyfriend helps me a lot when it comes to this type of work. He's the one
Mhm.
who's kinda, like, on camera whenever we do that sorta stuff and
Right.
my husband's kinda more of the backstage
Mhm.
type of stuff because, he does more of the technical stuff and,
Right.
everything like that, and we're a good happy trio. It's great.
Yeah,
Um,
that's so
but,
cute.
we definitely well, I definitely depend on their kind of, like, their support in the way of
Right.
just being like, hey, these are the people that I have to truly impress, and
Right.
everyone else can, like, like it or not, you know?
Right.
But
Mhm.
it sucks as a creator because you want to be liked. You want
Right.
to be you want to be still, like, even to the end of at the end of the day, even if you, don't have a partner, the only person that should opinion that should matter truly is your own.
Right.
Like, your own opinion about yourself. Like, even if you
Mhm.
don't have a partner and this and that, or if you do have a partner, truly, even if your partner does say, like, "Oh, this and that," you still should have that reflecting opinion about yourself, because if you
Mhm.
don't, you're just gonna be miserable, you know?
Right.
It's not fun. But yeah, it definitely is hard at times, so I kinda lean on them just a bit, and they're like, "Hey, like, you're doing awesome, they're,
Right.
like, literally, like, my little cheerleaders, I
That's
ain't
so
gonna
cute.
lie.
That's so cute. Yeah, I feel like having that support is really helpful, especially because when it comes down to it, I feel like negative criticism or even constructive criticism are always like voices in your head. Like once you see it or hear it, that's not the last time. It always like repeats a little like throughout a day or like a week or even like a month later you could think back and be like, "Oh, remember that one jackass that said this?" So I feel like having those positive voices, like counteracting that is super important
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's so easy to latch onto negative things. So sometimes the positivity has to be even louder, and like more consistent and often. So it's really good that you have that support network as well. And it must be hard because if these are people who are paying you, it's not like you can ban them.
No, yeah, because then there's this weird dichotomy where it's like,
Right.
what do I do?
Right.
Do I ban? No, because, like, I do like the money, but at the same time,
Right.
I have to also know when to put down my boundaries, because then it
Exactly.
comes the other side of things when, the people that aren't mean but are too nice, where it's like, "Uh-oh,
Mm.
this person," yeah, parasocialism, yay,
Has
ta
it
ta
has it ever
ta.
gotten really bad for you? Like,
Yes.
what has that been like?
So bad at times where
Really?
yes, like, it is, like, I've had people ask me on IRL dates before, like, literally, and they're like, "Oh, I'll fly you out here. Like, I'll get you here. I'll do this. I'll do that." I'm like, "You don't even know my real name."
No.
Like like, "Hello?"
And is that just from like not that it really matters, but is that just from like your not safe for work content? Is it from Twitch too? Like where is that kind of like what are they feeding off of, do you think?
Definitely the not safe for work, content creation,
Right.
because when it comes to, like, my normal, like, safe for work stuff,
Yeah.
like, I definitely would say that, I'm kinda more just, like, autistic gremlin over there, and I'm
Mhm.
not, like, I don't really feed off because, like, I'm constantly doing the sexy, like, energy,
Right.
like, over on the
Yes,
other
yes.
side. Once I'm on Twitch, I just wanna be silly.
You and
I
like the
want to
other side. Yeah.
I want to be silly. I want to be so there's
Right.
nothing for them to really latch on to besides,
Right.
"Aw, she's adorably stupid." I'm like, "Yeah, I am. I'm glad you
Reminds me of that,
noticed."
like, that one wiener dog picture where it's
Yes.
like, "Can you repeat that?" Yeah, literally. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, so
So
that's 100% me. So, yeah, definitely the spicy side of things.
right, right. What do you enjoy about not safe for work? Because it must fulfill you to a point where you're dealing with this, but still wanting to do it, right? Like, you still enjoy it at the end of the day.
It's definitely empowering, where
Right.
it's just like, because, kinda go a little more into a philosophical thing as
Mhm.
well again, being a woman on the internet fucking sucks. Um,
Really?
and really, and, we're constantly, whether it be direct or indirect, just misogyny constantly, like,
Right.
whether it be just, like, we say an opinion and then it's, like, blown up into out of proportion, but then the
Right.
man says the same exact opinion, and then it's
Mhm.
just acted all normal and
Right.
fine, and it's just like, "Huh,
Mhm.
that's interesting."
Right.
So, just as someone who literally is just so comfortable with themselves and
Mm.
wanting to just like, "Hey, I get to make money and have fun and, like, meet friends out of this because, like, honestly, sex workers are some of the most genuine people I've ever met in my life. Like,
Right.
because they're just so down to earth and they've been through the ringer when it comes to like life
Yeah.
as a whole.
Yeah.
That they just don't play games. Like they know what they want in a
Mm.
friendship or a relationship or a partner. Like literally, it's just they know what they want.
Right.
So, definitely it's empowering. It's just like I like that I get to just make the content that I want, that I'm
Mhm.
proud of and this and that, I'm not gonna lie, like I've said before, everybody craves validation.
Right.
And it's definitely you have to clock it because if you get too much into it, for like a creator for me,
Right.
it can really get to your head where it's like
Mhm.
everybody's validation is everything. And it's like, whoa, whoa,
Right.
whoa. Like, no, no, no. It's a nice ego boost, is what I'm essentially
Mhm.
trying to say. Where it's like, oh, you like someone the other day, like literally sent me a message that was just so random where they were just like, they were like, "Oh, like I really like how your hands look."
Aw.
Just something it was so simple where it was just
Yeah.
like, "They're so small and like cute and like I want to like, like just literally just super wholesome in this." And me, I have a really big insecurity about my hands because I
Aw.
kind of my
Yeah.
hands do this weird thing where my fingers at the bottoms get like chubbier in there, and so like I just kind of like have like a bit of an insecurity with that.
Mhm.
So just having something like that, as simple as that, just made me smile. Just being like, "Oh, thanks." Like
Yeah.
I thought different, but like obviously other people like them, like or they
Yeah.
they see a different light in that, and it helps me kind of ground me back to reality instead of
Mhm.
my own lens, if that makes any sense.
Right. I think because I dabble nowhere near to the extent that you do or other people that are in not safe for work do, but I dabble, and there have been like things that I've written on Twitter on a side account, and
That
there
I don't follow at all.
yeah. and and there one person messaged me and was like I'm just so in love with the content that you write here because and it's just words, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh my god, that's so nice because it's like low key my brain, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
like,
the things I'm
aw.
coming up with, yeah. So I feel that it's definitely like when it's good, you know what I mean? And then there's other things that are like you're chubby or like you're like da da da. But I think when it's good, it does feel good to be
My gosh, the
appreciated.
hate some of the hate, though, I'm not gonna lie, is so funny at
I
times.
can
Like, I
imagine.
I have this infamous message that I've literally saved, and I had it as my banner on Fansly for, like, a bit, or
Yeah.
Bluesite, for a bit,
Yeah.
where it was just the transcript, where it was just some guy was like, "Oh, I loved your Shy Gal cosplay, so sexy, so awesome. Oh, you're so beautiful."
Yeah.
Text message, which was, like, 5 hours later, and it just says, "Suck my dick, fat ass."
You didn't respond, KB. How could you? You hurt his feelings. So that's hilarious. No response, right? Like there's
No, yeah,
nothing.
of course,
Yeah,
no.
like
I literally I screen capped it, I okay, I was a little bit of an instigator, I was a little troll because
right.
I took that and I put it in the background of my Blue Twitch stream.
Honestly, as you should. Do you think they were there that night?
No, that's what I was about to get to. They literally were there, and my mods had a field day, just like
Oh
we were just
my.
clowning on the guy the entire time. It was so
Because that's
funny.
embarrassing. Like, you're embarrassing to do that, to be like, oh, you're so, like, I love everything about you. And then you, like, get rejected or, like, not, it's not the response you wanted within 5 hours, by the way, which is even more embarrassing. But to, like, not get a response at all. And then instead of being like, she probably liked that message, it's like, you didn't feed into his ego. So he was like, never mind, ugly bitch. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
hate you. You suck. So, yeah, no, I some of these just oh my god, like, I got one the other day where, it's an infamous, like, VTuber hater, I always forget their names, like,
Right.
Crusade or something, like,
Right.
everybody knows him, like, when they see the name and they go, "Oh,
Right.
I know him." Yeah, it was like this whole manifesto
Oh
about like
God.
just like how fat I was, and you know, like I was just like I was shocked in the way of like someone took this much time to
An
dedicate
effort.
an effort for hate mail for one person that I'm not even kidding you. This was like 4 paragraphs.
And can I just say, like, first of all, who gives a fuck what anyone else looks like? But you're like beautiful. So I'm confused. Like, what are, and like, no offense to anyone, but like, don't throw stones in glass houses. You know what I mean? Like when when they were typing that 4 paragraph manifesto, I bet that person was sitting there, crumbs on their chest, freaking low lighting, and the only thing for the lighting was like their phone screen. You know what I mean? Like they probably were not looking very flattering, writing, sweating over that 4 paragraph manifesto. Like there's no reason for it.
Yeah, it was just there was no reason for it whatsoever, and it was just like, and I read the page, and it was like they were 18, and I literally all I said back to them was like, if you're really this sad and pathetic at the age of 18, I really wish you the best, man. And then
No,
I
for
blocked them.
real. As
I
you
blocked them after I said that
should.
because I pitied them. I was like, you're only 18 and you're this insufferable. That's sad. Like really,
Right.
that's just sad.
No, I can't, the hate messages, to even think of them and to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna send this. Like, oh, you're so big, you're so tough. And it's like,
No,
all that ever
yeah.
happens is the person just blocks you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's so
I
funny.
know, don't mind you, I
Hi,
know. I just wanted
Kay.
to say hi at least once. Alright, go away, go away. Leave me alone. I'm hanging out with my girlfriend. Go away.
Yeah.
I'm done with you.
Ah, I'm leaving you for her.
No more. He honestly would be like, "You know what, bet, I understand.
You
I
know
get
what?
it."
Women.
Damn it.
That's so fair. Um, so do you usually just block those kind of haters? Like you don't usually respond, but sometimes it's fun to like troll them back, right?
Oh, yeah, like, especially if I get, like, unsolicited, pics
Oh.
of you know what? Oh my god, I literally, like I send, like, the most grotesque image, like, in response, or, like, I send, like,
Right.
horrible, or I send, like, a picture of scissors, something like
Like a
that.
pickle cutter, like a
Yeah.
pickle and like a slicer. That's what I would do. I'd be like, bro, like you do not want to fuck with me. Like get out of here. No, that's insane.
Yeah, like, I have fun at times because it's just, like, if you don't have fun with it, you're just gonna be miserable, because
Right.
you'll get them so much, it's just you'll become desensitized to it.
Right. And it's like they're just desserts too. Like you like if you're harassing someone like that, you deserve to be harassed back in my opinion. Like you like I
Yeah.
would send like a bread slicer back. You know, like that's just like a fair thing to do.
Yeah, and definitely where the line is crossed though is like I feel like a lot of YouTubers kind of have this weird like line that they always seem to forget is there. Once you put it in the public eye is like where it's like that's a
Right.
little unless the person really deserves it.
Right.
Where it's just like
But even then, to put it in the public eye, it only brings attention and validation to whoever
right.
started
That's
it.
what I was just about to say.
Right.
I'm just like if you do that, you're just giving them what they wanted.
Right. And it's more likely they'll do it again.
Yep.
Especially, have you ever seen someone do that? Like they publicly state like about a hater and then the hater just like continues.
Yeah, because it's like calling out your stalker. Your
Right.
stalker loves that. They want
Right.
you to finally
They said
notice
my
them.
name. They said my name.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, my name's on their profile. Oh my god,
Yeah.
it's like we're dating. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the validation. That's exactly what they want. I remember I only did that once and they continued to message me after once they saw it on my profile. And I just thought it was hilarious that they kept going. I just thought it was so funny. I was like, oh my God. And like I think sometimes when you do that, it's pretty fun because you're just like, you know it's gonna happen. But sometimes if you keep publicly posting, like, cause I think he messaged me back like 5 times and I could have posted every one because it was hilarious, but I didn't because I knew that would just make it even like
Yeah.
longer to deal with. But I definitely posted it in my friend's Discord though, because I was like,
Yeah,
bro, look at this
that's
guy.
the perfect place to post it, 'cause
Right.
then yeah, you could all laugh about it, 'cause I've done
Right.
that before, where it's just like
Yeah. Look
literally
at
like
this
the messages.
guy.
Yeah, the messages I was just talking about, where it's like the
Right.
manifesto. I was literally in a
Right.
VC with my friends. I'm like, "Guys, look at
Look at
this.
what I just got.
Look at this." And they're like, "Holy hell."
So just know if you ever send hate mail to a VTuber or anyone really, someone out there is laughing at you.
Yeah,
And
we're all laughing at you. We're
more often
literally
it's
in a
multiple
circle
people.
laughing at
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Like it's not doing you any favors to do that. That's so funny. I actually had a question, and this is not related to what we've been talking about. But before, when you talk about like networking and sex work
Yeah.
and having friends in sex work, what is it like to collab with someone? And how do you even go about setting that up? Is that like awkward at all? Is it kind of part of the job? Are you friends first?
I'm
Or
so
does that make
glad you
it
asked.
weirder? Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to hear all
Alright.
about it.
I don't usually publicly say this, like, all the time because, like,
Right.
I kinda have to, like I don't wanna say play into the fantasy, but it's kinda
Right.
true, where it's just like, I'm a demisexual. I am a
Mhm.
demisexual to the roof, to the floorboards.
Mhm.
Like, I need to know you
Right.
before, like, anything can happen
Mhm.
of that regard, like, whatsoever.
Right.
And, I just like, I get offers, like, a lot from, like, other, like, smaller, like, creators that are just like,
Mm.
"Hey, we could, like, collab and do that." I'm like, "I don't
That's
who
a
are you?
lot.
Who are you?"
Yeah,
Like,
that's a lot.
it's usually like an IRL collab for that. I'm like, no,
IRL?
uh-huh,
Oh,
that's what makes it
wow.
worse.
That's a
That's what makes
lot.
that's what I'm talking about for at least my demisexuality stuff. Because when it comes to, like,
Right.
VTubing, oh, I can disconnect.
Right. Right.
When it's just like, like, models and stuff like that, like, I
Right.
don't like, literally our VTuber models, I don't care. Like,
Right.
that doesn't matter. But granted, for me, like, my demisexual I literally just need to be, like, bare bones basic friends with you. Like, I need to
Right.
know that example, if I queef during the
I
act,
was
you're gonna
just about
you're gonna laugh. Like, I
That's
need to know that.
exactly where my head
I
went when
need to know. I need to
That
be
was
sure. I
exactly
need
where
to
my
be
mind went. I was
secured.
like, if I fart mid-coitus, I need to
I need
know.
to know. Are you gonna laugh?
Yeah. No, that's so fair. That's
Yeah,
so
whenever I
funny.
put it like that for people, because 'cause they're like, "Oh gosh, you're really uptight." I'm like, "No, no, no. Hear me out."
Right. So when you in the timeline, it was theater, not safe for work, VA,
Oh, no, safe for work
safe for
VA,
work VA,
and then not
then
yeah.
not safe for work VA.
Mhm.
Do you consider not safe for work VA sex work?
Honestly, no. The
Right.
reason why I say that is because, well, okay, let me rephrase myself.
Mhm.
If you want to label yourself as a sex worker, you can. Like,
Right.
absolutely. Like, you technically produce content of sexual gratification.
Right.
But if you don't, that's fine too, because
Mhm.
honestly, you're not doing what the norm is, which is the visual aspect, I guess,
Right.
of
Right.
it. Because, for example, like when I'm making my audio stories, people ask me all the time. They're like, "Oh my gosh, are you actually,
Are you
like
actually doing it?
are you doing it in the audio?" I'm like, "Do Dragon Ball Z voice actors get punched in the booth?" No!
Well,
No! I'm not!
I'd be like, punch me for the authenticity. Punch me.
I'm like,
That's so funny.
no, that is such a silly question because literally I'm in a booth that I can't even sit in.
Right.
I'm like, for me to be able to do that and to be able to get
And
those
have
clean
fun.
sat yeah, no, I would hate my life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so funny.
Like, it doesn't make sense, and I understand that it's Gooner brain or whatever, like, but
Right, right.
I'm like, think of the semantics, please, like, just for, like, 1 second. I'm like, "No,
Turn off the
no."
horny, put in some brain cells,
Like,
and you'll
let's
figure it
think
out real
about it.
quick.
Think about it for
That's
1
so
second.
funny.
Like,
Right,
cause
'cause
I add SFX into, like, the rest of my audios, like, it's not
right,
just that, like, I add, like, doors opening,
right.
footsteps, I add chair, like,
Mhm.
anything that requires SFX.
Right, to create, like, the whole atmosphere and the world around it, right. The it's just really funny. I think the same thing, like, just with not safe for work VA because it's more so acting. I don't consider it sex work to the point of, like, because you're not actually doing it, right? That's where
Yeah.
I would also split the definitions for myself. But you did not safe for work VA and then sex work?
Yep. So,
Okay, yeah.
essentially, what happened was when, it's kind of a funny story.
Mhm.
I was with my, now husband for a long while, and, we met actually via, Not Safe for Work VA. They were a Not Safe for Work
Aw.
VA. So yeah, we met via the field, literally just met. So they knew my game. I
Mhm.
knew their game, like, we were in happy harmony because, we
Yeah.
understood each other.
Right.
And then, when funny enough, when, we got engaged,
Mhm.
I've always had this thought in the back of my head to do sex work,
Mhm.
like, and stuff like that. But as a woman, this is kind of a really dicey subject, which
Mhm.
is the whole undesirables,
Mhm.
where the moment that you do, like, IRL stuff,
Right.
you're kind of deemed as unsavory and
Mhm.
undesirable and this and that.
Right.
And I was like, I never wanted to dip my toes into it before I kinda had a secure, like,
Mhm.
relationship. Like, "Oh, yeah, this guy wants to marry me."
Right.
Meaning I'm pretty safe.
Right, right.
Granted, am I putting all my apples into a basket? Maybe, but I knew him for years before we
Right.
started dating. So
Mhm.
I'm just like, I've known this guy for a long, long time. So when we got engaged, I literally brought up the question. I was like, "Hey, like I've talked about this before with you.
Mhm.
Are you comfortable with that sort of thing? Because now we're like, like I'm serious about this. Like, obviously, I
Right.
said yes to us getting married. Like I would really want to try to start this kind of content just for myself and my own like discovery journey and my own like
Mhm.
just I don't know, just like money discovery and then also
Right.
just a self
Curiosity,
curiosity gratification, like it's so many
fun.
different.
It's like a life experience.
Yeah, and
Right.
essentially all of that. And he was like, "Yeah, baby, sure. Like you can." And I'm like, "Cool."
Cool,
And so
thanks.
so so literally I remember when I posted my first picture, I was literally shaking as I was like about to press the
Right.
because nobody has seen my body like before
Right.
that point. So I
Mhm.
was just like, "Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god."
Yeah.
Like this is a big step. Once I'm in this water, I cannot leave.
Right.
I cannot get out.
Right.
So I remember, my husband just being like, "Just press it. Just press it.
Do
Press
it.
the button.
Do
Press the
it.
button." And I'm like and yeah, he got me to do it, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I just fucking did that.
Throw
I
your
can't
phone
believe I
across
just
the
did
room.
that." Yeah, I was like, "I can't believe I did that." And he was like, "Good job." I'm like
Aw, that's so sweet.
so, yeah, that started the whole and then I saw, like, the flood of love from people, and they were like,
Right.
"Oh my god," because people have begged me for years at this point to start doing that work, but I was
Right.
just like,
Mhm.
and so now that I'm finally doing it, they're like, "Oh my god. Oh my god."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hype.
so it was hype, and it started from there, and I was like, This is awesome.
Mhm.
This is awesome to us."
Yeah.
So yeah, and since then, like, my hubby's been perfectly fine, with that sort of stuff. Because people oh
Mhm.
my god, this has always been a thing where it's just like, How does your husband feel?" I'm like,
Mm.
"He's literally doing the same thing, just like voice
Right.
work? Like,
Right.
what? Like,
He's right next to me eating chips. Like, what do you
yeah, he's literally right there. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think? Do you think, like, my Twitter is private? What do you think this
No,
is?
yeah, like,
Like,
oh my
do you do
god.
realize he literally, like, he has me, like, for example, in his bio and stuff like that, and I'm like
Right.
because people always wonder, they're like, "Who's this my friends, like, always go, "Who's this person?" Like, that are kinda, like, new people,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Oh, that's my husband." They're like, "Oh, that's your husband?" Yeah, so
Right,
he kinda
right.
started just putting that in his bio just so people
Yeah.
immediately knew who he was.
Right, right.
But yeah, so it's so funny the things that people like assume. I'm like, of course he knows everything. I literally
Right.
it's called healthy communication can make things happen.
And not for nothing, but like it's nice. It's very nice that there's communication beforehand and that you both agree on it and all of this other stuff too. But why is everyone's first thought, what does your male figure think? Whether it's like your father or like your
He
husband or
doesn't
your
own me.
boyfriend.
Yeah,
Right,
he don't
right.
own me. What
It's
do you mean?
it's always that thought. It's like, oh, what must your dad think? Or your dad must be proud of you. Or like, oh, your husband's a cuck. You know what I mean? Like
Yes!
stuff
I
like
get that
that.
so much. I'm like,
Oh, okay, but like
mm, mm.
not necessarily you guys, because I don't ever want to step over anyone's boundaries to say this. But like at the end of the night, that's the man who's fucking you. You know what
No, no, no.
I
No,
mean?
you're literally saying what I'm saying. I'm like, "You
Right.
do realize hello? I'm
Yes.
sleeping with him in the
Yes.
bed at the end of the day?" That's literally what we tell people. We're like, "At the end of the
Right.
day, who am I sleeping next to?" Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
or my boyfriend because, like, I'm poly and we're all open like that. Like, that's just
Yeah.
kinda how it is, and it's like, yeah, my 2 partners who I am exclusive with in that, unless
Mhm.
it comes to work, where it comes to, like, that sorta stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, yeah, everyone's cool. Like, it's called communication. Like, I
Right.
don't
They
understand
just can't fathom it.
they can't understand anything outside of monogamy, and it's
Right.
it's it's not their fault. I don't blame people because that's all we're brought up as is
Right.
monogamy, and that's all we're seeing growing
Mhm.
up, and that's all we're used to, and that's what is correct, what is
Right, right.
civilized, what is normality, and I'm
Civilized
like,
is crazy work too, because it's like,
yeah,
bro.
it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
Like,
bro, please. Like, I can't handle like yeah, it's very much at the end of the day, if people are doing what they want to do and everyone's in agreement and everyone's consenting and everyone's 18 and over and blah 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 blah, the whole fucking TOS of it all. Right? Who cares what anyone else is doing? Why are you so
exactly.
invested? That's the
Like,
craziest thing to me. And then to go a step further and be like, your husband's a cuck, or like, oh, like your relationship is less than because you do this, or even just for like polyamory, let alone
yeah,
sex work. It's just so like, ugh.
yeah,
Who
it's
are
just
you?
like what? Like, last time I checked, like, we're all pretty happy, but of course, like,
Right.
that's none of y'all's
Exactly. Exactly. No, it just always amazes me the amount of like audacity other people can have, because in my life, I'm just like, who the fuck am I to ask anything about anyone? You know what I mean? I'm always like very like, I'm not cool. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like,
no.
I'm not anyone. So why would I ever have like an opinion about anyone else doing anything? So it's just always funny to me that it's just like people can have that audacity just within them. But
Yeah, it's just it's literally like they think I do not communicate every single
right.
thing to my partners, like where it's like, hey, I'm kind of interested in doing this type of content. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think about that? And then they
Right.
go, oh, that could really work. Like, honestly, maybe we should do it this way. Like, literally, they are like my consultants. Like, it's
Right,
kind of
right, right,
like
right.
I literally asked them. I literally and Slater and Chad could literally say like I have asked him this like to his face. I'm like, as a man, tell me.
Right,
As a
right. I
man,
asked
I
my
need to
friends
know.
that. I'm like, "Hey, as a guy, would you jerk it?"
Yes, I literally asked that. I'm like, "So, I got a hot idea. You gotta tell him, is it gas or not?"
Yeah. Rate this 1 out of 10. No, and
I
that's the
gotta
best
know.
thing. Like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
We are almost at our time. We have about, like, 20 minutes left, and I wanted to
Yes.
ask you, what is next for you? Like, what are your short-term goals? Do you have long-term goals? What is your, especially with VTubing? Like, what do you want your focus to be in VTubing? Do you have ideas on that? If you don't, that's perfectly fine too. But like, what is next for KB?
What is next is definitely getting more into the safer work side of things because
Mm,
like I've said earlier, I really want to show people that I have more of a personality than
right.
just, like
Mm-hmm.
just that where it's just like it's definitely something that I want to explore more and to meet more people and this and that and not just solely because over a certain amount of time, if you
Mm-hmm.
completely surround yourself in one form of content, you're going to
Right.
drive yourself
Right.
so branching out, doing all this sort of stuff and like doing VTubing and everything like that, like I'm having fun because VTubing has gone coincide with the other sex work that I do and I'm just like
Right.
this literally it's like a perfect little puzzle like just
Right.
put together and I'm like, "Oh, this is amazing." So yeah, besides that, I guess we're kind of in the same boat,
Mm-hmm.
hush hush, everything about that. When it comes
Herm.
to I'm so excited.
Right. Me too.
But like that's definitely the next big thing is for
Right.
all of us with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very, very excited with that.
Me
I'm
too.
just really excited to go to more cons, honestly, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to defeat my social anxiety, which
Mm.
is very crippling.
Right.
In the way of I've this is my biggest flaw and I'm still working on it like
Mm-hmm.
with my therapist and everything like that is that the biggest thing that comes to my head is I am a bother. Like
Mm.
literally anytime I like it could be a mutual of mine that I have been mutes for like years and
Right.
then my friend would go, "Oh, go talk to them." I'm like, "I don't want to bother him." And then they go, "What?
That's so
They're literally
fair.
just eating a sandwich over there. I don't want to bother him." What?
That's
They're
probably a really good
eating.
sandwich.
I don't wanna bother.
Right, right.
What? And, like, they literally are just, like, dumbfounded, like,
Right.
what do you mean? Like, they're mutuals of you, they have talked to you, you have, like, talked in DMs, you have done
Right.
this, you have done that. I'm like, "I don't wanna bother."
I'm similar in that sense where it's like I just assume everyone is so busy and that if I get near them, they'll like swat me with like a fly swatter, like legitimately
Yes!
like shoo. You know what I mean?
I
Even though
have
they're
the
so
same,
nice.
yeah.
Like met them in real life, like, you know, like had drinks and I'm still like, how do you say hello?
I'm that way, but, like, I'm afraid if I were to go up to the person suddenly, like, I don't know, like, if they suddenly hate me for some reason.
Right, right. And you're like, you're caught off guard. I think
Yeah, because it's just like, oh, like, that whole rejection, like, fear, I get it.
yeah, yeah, fear of rejection is huge. I also think for me, it's like a control thing. Like, I can never know what other people are thinking, even if they're nice to me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're nice to me, but what do you really You know what I mean? But the good thing is that for Offkai and presumably TwitchCon, is that there will be a group and we will all be
I
together.
wonder.
And and we will have support in that group.
I know, 'cause, a certain little girl will, will whip us into shape and be like,
Yes.
"Go now," and they're
Yes.
like,
It's gonna be awesome.
"Oh."
And I think it's nice too if you have some people that you know are going. Like for example, you. Like if I know you're at Offka, if I know you're at TwitchCon, then I'm like, hey, B likes me for sure. Right?
I know,
So then it
but
could be
then
like,
you have the little
hi.
bug in the back of your head, like, "What if this is all a ploy? She's an actress, right?"
That's
That's
I
my head. I get so like, "Oh god."
Yeah, that's so fair. I think cons will be awesome, and I think it's just a matter of like being vulnerable so that the world can prove that it's not out to get you. Because
Yes.
in order for that fear to go away, I think you have to give people a chance in general, or else you'll never let it happen, and then it will never reaffirm or deny that fear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and funny enough, circling back to kind of what we were saying with people that are kind of more of the toxic way of things,
Mm,
of the whole fear of like, speaking to people or this or that because they don't want, like that like, oh,
right,
they're gonna take all of my fans, this or
right.
that. It's funny because there's the two sides of the coin where you could take it the toxic route or the route that we're going, which is just I just don't want to bother people.
Literally.
It's kind of funny how it's just like it's either or. It's like
Right.
you don't want to be a bother, or it's just like no, I just don't want anything to do with them because
Right.
X, Y, and Z.
Right. And I think once you start to put yourself out there and surround yourself with nice people, the world starts to look a little more bright and you don't like have that fear as much because it's just, and then like, I think even if you do run into those people, after having like a supportive group, I feel like it doesn't hurt as much because you're like, that's a them issue, you know?
Yeah.
Like if they want to live like that, that's fine, but like that's not what I want. So I can move along regardless.
One day I'll get there.
I believe
One
in
day.
you. I believe in you. I think Offkai will be really fun.
Yes, I'm excited for Offkai and
Yeah.
TwitchCon. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, which means that everyone should be keeping a close eye on KB and KB's movements throughout 2025.
And also Cece.
No, it's just about you. It's just about you.
No.
That's so funny. Do you have any like upcoming events that you would like to promote?
Um, Nothing set in stone right now because I'm like I said, I'm kind of still establishing like the safe word
Mm-hmm.
room. So I'm kind of just like popping off on TikTok right now.
Heck
If you
yeah,
want to
you
follow,
are.
you want to follow me on TikTok, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. It's just Camilla Bombed. It's just my name, same thing. On TikTok. And Twitch, the same name. If you look me up there, I've been doing shorts over there, and funny enough, they've been received like very, very well.
Yeah.
Like I literally started what was it at like 8K at one time, and then like within like less than a month, yeah, less, no, like it's been a month, yeah, it's been like exactly a month, I am almost at 30K.
Nice. That's amazing.
That's a really big jump.
Yeah, that's
And then, like,
huge.
shout out to my editor in the chat right there
Yeah,
making
let's
it
go.
happen. Making it happen. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah,
But
and you're posting them on Twitter too. I see them a lot on Twitter.
yeah, I'm trying to, like, just post them, like, on Twitter, and then, we're also doing it on Instagram, and then y
Yeah.
YouTube is kind of,
Don't talk to me about YouTube. I fucking
crickets. I don't
YouTube hates me.
YouTube hates me too.
No, it's so
Don't
fair. It's so fair.
worry. I'm like, where is everybody?
Yeah, no, for real. No, yeah, YouTube is a little hard, but
Yeah, unless you're doing, like, ASMR or, like, some brain rot content, like, you
mhm.
can't get noticed, and it sucks unless you're
Yeah.
established. It sucks.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. It's one of the harder algorithms to kind of understand and crack for sure. But it's great
Yeah.
that you're on so many different platforms, especially because people can follow you there.
Yeah, and I mean, that I'm really trying to push it over there and, like, just
Mhm.
make shorts, to do that sort of stuff because I know short form content, everybody loves short form content because we all have the, attention span of a naked mole rat, you know?
Yeah.
So, essentially, it's perfect for everybody, perfect for anyone, essentially,
Your
but
Instagram went from 1 follower to almost 7K in a month. That's awesome. That's
that
really
is
huge.
pretty cool. But, okay, real quick, I'm gonna say, Instagram people are some of the nastiest people. Like,
Are they
it's
like nasty like hello or nasty like fuck you?
no. Yeah,
Oh.
that. And what's sad is, like, it's mostly women that are mean, and I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
Mean to me?
There's a lot of stay-at-home moms.
Just
There's a lot of like,
why?"
sheltered, I would say, women over there. Not even like stay-at-home moms, but like the pinnacle image of like reserve in that way. Like especially if you're talking about like not safe for work stuff, I feel like Instagram is definitely like more conservative about that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's just, like, every time I see, like, comments from them where it's like, "You VTubers are all the same, big titty, dumb
I want
bimbos,"
a boob
and
toggle that just makes them gigantic just to piss them off. Like I really want to do that.
I've literally commented, I've been like, one of us is studying for a PhD, and I can give you a little bit of a hint, it's not you."
The other thing is like you're like I've seen way bigger titties. You know what I mean? Like
It's like,
there's like huge bazongas. You're like like that's like proportionate.
yeah.
And mine are my size. It's not like we're unrealistic.
No, yeah, yours are, like, very, very normal, and funny enough, in my, my next debut, I'm gonna make it very, very like, I'm not gonna talk about it too much.
Right.
They're going smaller, dude.
Sneak peeks, bro. Guys, we're getting
I'm
sneak
making them
peek information right
smaller.
now. You're
I'm
nerfing them?
I'm nerfing them. Yes, I'm nerfing.
Take screenshots now, chat. We're gonna lose them.
You're losing the titty.
That's so funny. That's a big thing. Why didn't you talk about that? We're gonna have a debut eventually. That's huge.
Yeah, well, it's kinda there's not anything
Well,
set
you
in
know.
stone right now, like, I have the person who's gonna be my model
Heck
parent in
yeah.
mind.
Right.
Like,
Give
really? But it's a lot of money.
keep your eyes on KB, okay, chat? Or you're gonna
It's
miss
a lot
out.
of money. It's a lot of money.
You win these. You win these.
Like, I saw the price and, like, I was, like, expecting it, but just to be seen with it, and I'm like, "Oh my god."
Right, right.
Oh my god.
Usually the tits get bigger. Look at Envy. That's a stray. That's a stray.
Damn.
Thank you, KB.
Yeah, well,
Chat,
thank
please go follow
you.
KB on all KB socials. Slater, do we perchance have KB socials in one easy paragraph? You are free to post it in chat.
I do have a link tree. Yeah, I have a
Slash
link
shout
tree.
out.
Hold on, link tree. Hold on, I'll make it
Hi,
easy.
Kendra. Thank you for the rain. Welcome in. We're just ending our podcast with Camilla Bombette, KB.
Hello.
Not safe for work voice actor, safe for work voice actor. Gee, let me take a breath. Mortuary scientist.
I have this one too. Yeah.
There you
Too much.
go. Thank you so much.
Too much shit.
Yeah, everything. President.
Everything.
One day.
Oh god, I would be a horrible president.
Poor Slater. I put Slater on the chopping block. I was like, Slater, links.
You know what's so funny is that my head mod is also in here, Mama Blue.
Oh, hi, Blue. Even Naru was grabbing them. That's so good. See, everyone's rooting for you, KB. This is gonna be your year.
I'm hoping.
I
Hey, I mean,
believe,
I
I
had a
believe.
really good year. What was it, 2023? That was a really nice year. It was the year of the Year of the Rabbit, which is pretty cool. What is it? The Year of the Snake this year or something, right?
Don't say that to me. I don't need any more snakes in my life, KB. That's
But
scary.
snakes are cute. I have
They're
2.
cute when they're not
Oh.
biting you in the back. It is the year of the
Oh,
snake.
people.
Oh yeah,
Right.
no,
Not
I love
actual
snakes.
snakes. Okay, because I was like, don't you
Send me
dare
pictures of
say
your
that.
snakes. I want to see them.
Don't you say that about Whiskey right now.
Aww.
My corn snake is named Whiskey, and
I
he's a
love corn
beautiful baby.
snake.
He's orange, and he's my little orange
Aw,
baby.
that's so cute. I love orange. I love orange pets. My cat is partly
I
orange.
I have 3 orange cats.
Let's go.
It's my favorite
Orange.
color. I don't know if you can
Oh,
tell. I don't know if
really?
you can tell. I don't know.
Wait, what do you
My
think my
pants,
favorite color is?
maybe. I wonder.
It's
Wonder.
red. Could you imagine? No, it's pink. It's pink. That's so funny. Yeah, KB, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no, thank
Chat.
you guys. I
Say thank you to
appreciate it.
KB. Go follow
Thank you.
KB. All KB socials, especially Twitch. Pretty big
Yeah,
one.
because I'm trying to start that one up. I really want to hit partner by like next year, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
I want to go to the partner
When do you
party so
stream?
bad.
When do you stream?
I need to get back to streaming because I've been kind of on a little bit of a break, just
Yeah.
a mental health break, as you
Yeah.
say. But I'm getting back to it next week.
Good.
I'm gonna try for 2 days out of the week, but Friday is like a guaranteed day.
Friday. Friday chat. Eyes and ears.
Friday.
Yeah, thank you so much, KB. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, like if you ever want to do anything like in the future too. Like,
Maba lavas.
yeah, I do. I will be your little healer main.
Oh my god, I'm a healer. We can heal each other.
Oh, who do you main?
Luna and Cloak, so I can do either.
I do Cloak too.
Yeah, Cloak's the best. I love her.
I love doing Cloak, and then I would probably say for like tanks is my other one. Like I hate DPS.
So bad with I like Penny. I could talk to you all day though. So chat, we are going to end here. Thanks for all the follows. Thanks for all the good energy, the comments. Thanks for listening. And
Yeah,
I can't believe my mod just calls us both bottoms. That's fucking crazy. Okay. Zozo's banned. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll remember that, Zozo. You were on my shit list. I'm writing you my death note right now.
Yeah. You're getting coal for Christmas. Thank you. Thank you, chat. We love you. Thanks for hanging out. Hello and goodbye. Hi, Dragon. Goodbye.